Morning, guys. I know the weather's been great up here in Massachusetts. It's Augusta weekend. Everybody's ready to go, and the golf season's ready to get started. Unfortunately, I'm still stuck under doctor's orders, not able to do much. So, a couple things that I work on in order to get my strength back, as well as make sure I'm checking up on my golf swing while I'm here. I told you, this whip, can be used for so many things. One of the things that we've talked about for the past year, right? Every time I've hit balls, I've told you my stance gets open, the ball gets too far forward, and I hang back, right? So in order to correct it, I have to get very handsy to recover. That's not great. It's not consistent, and the timing has to be really good to play well. So one of the things I've been doing, that even though my doctor tells me it's my hands he's more worried about than anything, I've been using this whip and doing it, about 30 swings a day. I'm using the line, the crack in the cement here to kind of check ball position, and then I'm using the other line here to check setup. Right, so I'm pretending I'm hitting a driver. Obviously, the whip is really long, so we're gonna set it up off my heel. Um, Being left eye dominant makes it pretty easy to see. I just have to pay attention to what I'm doing. Right. I've been doing 30 swings, about 10 each, left-handed, one-handed, right-handed, one-handed, and then a full swing. So what I'm really focusing on right now, obviously, is ball position and then pushing the club straight back. As we've said, I've lost 75 pounds over the last couple of years. And when this isn't here and there's no mass to help me with separation, I tend to rip it inside and then I get stuck. So one of the things that I can work on is takeaway, right? And I'm concentrating on taking my left hand and pushing it back. As I push, my hip gets into position and the club gets in a better spot. Now, again, no teacher is ever going to teach my golf swing, right? An hour lesson isn't going to help. I'm not going to change what I've done for 40 years, right? Now I have to figure out ways to make that work for me. And one of the things that I can do is create consistency. And that's what this whip will help with is, one, it's going to help me get stronger. If those of you that follow my private page, I posted this morning, I'm back down to 135 pounds. And it's frustrating as hell. No matter what I do, I can't seem to put on weight. But I can use training aids and muscle builders to help with that. But I can't make my body get wide again. So I have to create the width on my own. So what I'm really focusing on today, like I said, ball position set up and then push. Nobody's ever going to teach Jim Furyk swing, but for me, that's the feeling that I want. Up and out, and then drop it inside and get it here, right? Most online lessons, most golfers take the club outside, get it closed, out, and slash, right? So nobody's ever going to teach the Jim Furyk move, but somebody like myself who's flat and gets it stuck, it's a great training aid. It's a great thing to think about because I'm never going to do it. You're never going to see me rerouting like Furyk, right? You're going to see me get into a good spot. I always drop. That's the good move that I do have and I've always had. So once I get the club in a good spot, now it's just trusting. It's funny. Part of the thing that made me come out here and want to record this was listening to Frank Nobilo talking about Ernie Els a few years back. He had Bob Toski come and look at his golf swing. He hit a couple shots. Toski made one little tweak to it. He hit two good ones. Toski picked up his water and said, "What the bleep do you need me for?" Walked away, and Ernie Els won the British Open. Too often as golfers, we get too into golf swing, right? They talked about Bubba at Masters on the Range today. They were taking pictures of him and showing videos of his positions. But you look at him, he's using the quad, right? He's not using TrackMan. The thing that most golfers don't realize with the quad is the only way to get club data is to put the little dots on the face of your club, right? Those guys don't want to do that on the range of a major because if they go to the first tee with the dots, they're +2. It's a penalty. You can't use it, right? So the fact that he's doing the quad is just telling you all he's looking for is ball data. How far is it going? What's my ball speed? He's not worried about what position the golf club is in. If you're standing over the golf ball thinking about positions, you're in trouble, right? That's the most frustrating thing for me as a teacher, is to teach the same thing over and over and over again, because the guys that I'm working with aren't going to the range to work on it, right? So, again, this is something that I work on. I know my ball position and my setup is bad, and it causes other issues in my golf swing. So I can do that with the whip. I can do that right here. The two training aids that I believe in the most is the whip and the putting mirror, right? And it's the same. When I get on the putting green, when I'm going bad, I get open, the face gets shut. So I hit good putts, the ball rolls end over end, but they're not on line. So every once in a while, you'll see me switch from my Scotty to a Spider, and the Spider has that white line on it, and I can put the ball down behind the Titleist, and I see the white straight, and then I set up to the putter, and it helps me. But not to get off topic, right? When it comes to golf, I know for 40 years my miss is my miss. I grew up playing a hook because I grew up playing kids that were 3, 4 years older than me, and I was trying to keep up with them distance-wise. So what did I do? I got a strong grip, I got flat, and I hit hooks that took off running with no spin. As I got older and my game got better, I learned how to hit a cut to control the spin a little bit, add spin, I should say, and be able to hit some shots with some control into some greens. So, yeah, one of the things I've been working on the last few days, trying to get my strength back and trying to get the feel back. Like I said, I've been doing 10 swings left-handed and 10 swings right-handed, and then 10 swings two-handed. So I'm really focusing on following that line, right? I don't need to put the club here because then I'm focusing too much. I want to work feel. So this is for my feet, and I know as long as I keep going this way, I'm going to get myself into a good spot. Right? So as you can see, I'm still kind of hanging back a little bit. And that goes to my knees and my legs being weak, and that'll come. It's just a matter of getting my strength and my speed up. But it's unfortunate. Every time I go through something like this, my golf game struggles and I get frustrated. But there's not really much I can do. I'm not healthy, and we got to do the best we can. What we got, for the past 15 or 20 years since I got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, I think I've done a pretty good job of keeping my golf game respectable. No, I'm probably not going to go out and shoot 65 anymore. Every once in a while, I'll maybe have a good side, but chances of 18 holes in 5 hours being dead on point is a struggle. Then you add in some prednisone, and I feel like I'm rabbit ears. I hear everything, I feel everything, I see everything. So as we can get off the meds and we get on a plan health-wise, it'll help my golf game. But, a lot of people don't realize how much a body change will change your golf swing. Back in college, I had a teammate. He went to VCU as a freshman out of high school. He decided to transfer to Methodist. He hit the gym, and he lost all kinds of weight. He couldn't break 80 for about 3 or 4 years. Then we graduated. He went to work in the New Jersey section, and he started playing well, right? He got used to it. He had to learn. He had to relearn his golf swing after he lost all that weight. So I go through this every year, and every winter when we go through that, it's frustrating. So it's been boring sitting on the couch doing nothing. Unfortunately, I don't really have a choice right now. For those of you that know me, my father's been a little sick the past few years. He had a stroke about 4 or 5 years ago, and he had a little episode last week, and he's been in the hospital since last Monday. So it's been tough sitting around, not being able to do much. Can't help him and can't help myself. It's frustrating. So trying to find ways to keep myself busy. What a great 2 weeks sports-wise it's been, right? You had the men's and women's basketball. Then you had the Augusta women's amateur, right? I still think they're screwing the U.S. Mid-Am champion on that one. How the women's Mid-Am doesn't get an invite to that tournament is just ridiculous to me. And I can't believe nobody else has really picked up on that. Talk about age and sexism. Talk about missing the mark. You got 15 and 16-year-old girls that can't break 80 in there. I mean, obviously they can break 80, but they haven't in that tournament. But you're telling me a 25 to 35-year-old female that's been playing tournaments her whole life, what a dream to go and play a golf course they never thought they'd be there. It's just frustrating to watch. And the fact that nobody will say anything negative about anybody is why things get out of place. You know, we talk about politics and all that, and I try to stay out of it as much as I can, but you can't even disagree without somebody saying you offended them. Trust me, I can be offensive. You guys haven't seen offensive yet. Everybody says, oh, you have no filter? Puh. Trust me, the shit that goes through my head, if you only knew the filter that I did have. But yeah, again, just out here trying to kill time, trying to get off the couch and see if I can get my strength back. You know, a couple one-handed tempo swings with the whip. As you can see, I'm forcing the club out away from me, but it doesn't look like Jim Furyk. Those of you that watched me hit balls all last summer, I tend to get here. And now my hands have to recover, and if my hands are going to start to get bad, we're going to be in trouble. So I got to find a way to feel the club head, know where it's going, and get thoughts and feels to control my golf swing. As you can see, I'm forcing it this way. You know, one of the things that I've been taught along the way, which is kind of a struggle when you're swinging it with my right hand, now that we put two hands on here, is not to pull, right? When I pull, I get stuck. So when I get this whip, I have to really focus and really concentrate on taking my left hand and pushing that club out away from me. If I do that, everything else comes into place and the golf club gets itself into the right position, right? My golf swing looks so much better on a practice swing or on out here because I'm really focusing on not getting inside, not getting stuck, but getting that club pushed out away from me. And from here you dip and you push again. You know, if the club head goes where it wants to, if you put it in the right spot, it's designed to open and close. It's only when we hold it and force it to do things that it doesn't want to do that we get in trouble. So again, like I said, you know, I don't have to go to the driving range to work on my golf game. I'm a field player. If I can get myself feeling this, I'll be fine when I get to the golf course, whether I have time to go to the driving range or not. So I've been doing this for a few days, and I'm already starting to feel a little bit of the stamina and strength coming back in my body. The first couple days when I was doing it, I was falling out over on my toes. That's another thing that I struggle with, that a lot of guys that I watch struggle with, is diving out over it and getting out on your toes, right? Sit. Sit to your right heel, right here. All my weight right now is right here. This leg, I'm almost like a pitcher. And then I go down and I go to this heel. If I get out on my toes, it's when we get out over the top. Shout out to the ambulances from Fairhaven. You can hear them in the background. From the moment my dad went down to the moment I called 911, they were here in less than 5 minutes, and he was on his way to recovery. Who knows what would have happened if they weren't as good as they are. So big shouts out to those guys. All right, I'll probably do a little bit more on my own, but I just wanted to come out here and talk about it. Stay out of your own head, trust your own golf swing, and remember, you're not going to take 10 shots off your game with one lesson, right? You're paying for a lesson. A lot of the times it's supervised practice, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Enjoy the Masters. Let's go Spieth.